Welcome back to Everything Old is New Again. Douglas Viviani sitting in here with my co-host David Cohen. We are talking about Godzilla and the giant monster craze, the monster movie craze. And the reason why we play Jurassic Park there is, in my view, Spielberg took the theme of the giant monster movie one step beyond and actually said, forget creating hybrid and odd type of monsters that we can't relate to. Let's take a look at real dinosaurs that we grew up with, which is a craze with every little boy.
You grew up with dinosaurs?
I grew up with dinosaurs. That's how old I am. And I'll tell you, they really hit the mark, I think, on that movie. But the question is, when we talk about these giant monster movies, is there really any meaning behind any of them, or is this just a novelty where Saturday afternoon you're just watching to get out of cleaning the house?
What kind of meaning? How do you mean?
Well, I mean, what's the theme? Why is there 29 Godzilla movies and all of these ancillary movies that continue to this day? Because there's a Godzilla movie coming out, or is out now in May, and
they mean, I'll tell you what they mean. They mean it's another way for studios to make money. I mean, I don't think there's any real hidden meaning behind it. I think studios are extremely risk averse, and they don't want to do anything new, and it was about time someone made a Godzilla movie.
But if you're going to make a movie, you've got to make money. It's got to be a remake. It's got to make some money. It's got to have an interest in. Otherwise, they're not going to make it. Why is the general public interested? I think, on some level, not only the special effects, which were kind of poor in most of these movies, but the special effects or the novelty of watching a monster go through a city and destroy the city. I think that there is a message where you see the scientists in these movies have done something, usually something with regard to the atom bomb, or something else with regard to nature. And these monsters coming back to wreak havoc on the human race, to me, is an example or a representation of Mother Nature, if you will, or I guess that's it, Mother Earth, coming back to haunt the human race for going overboard on science.
Well, maybe, but they're playing on the fears of the day, right? You had the atom bomb back in the 50s and Godzilla and others, and now you've got, this whole cli-fi thing that's happening where people are worried about the climate change and what we're doing to the environment. So let's scare the hell out of them and come up with some more movies about that. It's not, I don't think they're trying to send a message. I really don't.
Well, if there's no message, then why are people watching this over and over and over again?
They like to see things destroyed.
Yeah, everyone likes to see things get blown up,
We could say that, but 29 times, or plus all of these others? I don't know. I might say that there is some interest in the special effect of it as well, but when Spielberg takes on a topic, something like this, someone that successful and that creative, there has to be a reason and a meaning behind it. Certainly there had to be some meaning behind Jurassic Park, no?
I didn't see any. It was a good way to bring back dinosaurs and scare people to death and make some money. I mean, I don't know. I think you're being a little naive with the grand concept of, yes, let's make a movie about what we're doing to the environment. And, hey, you know what? Let's blow a lot of stuff up and kill people and put some special effects in there, too.
Well, speaking of difficulties and problems in life, all I can tell you is that, excuse me, that these monster movies give you a little bit of home because you see the same things over and over again. You know what to expect, and you've got a lot of fun watching.
Right. And speaking of problems, and I just want to thank Doug, if we could just change gears for a minute here, because we need sponsors for this show. We don't do it out of the goodness of our hearts all the time. We'd prefer not to. But I just wanted to let you know that portions of the show, is sponsored by the law practice of Doug Viviani, my partner here sitting next to me. And just to give you a little information about...
He knows so well.
I had one job, and that was to read copy. I couldn't find it. So, seriously, Doug's been providing legal service for over 26 years. He's a general practice firm. He can handle any legal matter you may have for a reasonable fee, and I can vouch for that. If you were involved in a car accident, you're starting a business, you're planning your estate, you have need of a criminal attorney, call him, 631-681-1910, or email vivianilaw@aol.com, and he will give you a free consultation. So get the justice you deserve. Contact the law office of Douglas Viviani at vivianilaw@aol.com.
Thank you. If just as an aside, if some monster happens to run through your town, or as we saw the other day, an airplane fly into your house, there is some avenue of redress as an aside.
And you'll be able to identify the monster just by listening to it.
Exactly. We'll be able to sue that monster and serve him. I'll know exactly what cave to find him in. The other question that and thank you for that, Dave. I appreciate that. Every monster movie, that giant monster movie that comes along, in my view, has to have an audience for it. And to me, the only way an audience would watch these movies, besides the theme, is that there are human characters we care about. So, speaking of those human characters, if you take a listen to a little bit of a clip from the movie Them, we may get some support for one of our arguments as to why these monster movies were made, or what the theme behind these monster movies are.
I tell you, gentlemen, science has agreed that unless something is done, and done quickly, man, as the dominant species of life on Earth, will be extinct within a year.
We may be witnesses to a biblical prophecy come true, and there shall be destruction and darkness come up in creation, and the beast shall reign over the earth.
Well, there you have Santa himself from the Miracle of 34th Street, if you recognize that voice, speaking to us from...
I thought it was Rodin.
from the movie Them, and speaking about how the point of view, at least of that movie, was that man is having these problems with these giant grasshoppers in that movie.
Humankind.
Yes, as a result, you're right. I have to be politically correct there. Sorry,
not just
that.
Man.
You're right. Humankind has difficulty, but back to it. I think that's a clear example of what I was speaking about earlier, about how these movies, some of them, the better of them, have someone that presents the theme as to why this is happening.
Right. So, who presented the theme? What great acting moments do you remember from King Kong?
Well, Matthew Broderick was. What's the character in Producers? Bienstock he played?
Bialystok.
Right.
Bialystok and Bloom.
He seemed to have been the same character in the Godzilla movie.
Right.
Other than that, you're right. There wasn't and haven't been a lot with the new Godzilla movies, or any of the Godzilla movies that I could see, other than Raymond Burr describing, as we've heard previously.
But the U.S. studio put Raymond Burr in there. That was not in the original Japanese version of Godzilla.
Correct, because the American culture, needed some meaning behind this movie. By the way, you're listening to Everything Old is New Again. Everything Old is New Again on the Long Island News Radio, 103.9. As far as I'm concerned, the audience needs to have some of these characters, whether it's a scientist or someone that they can relate to, and say, if this was happening to us, we have to figure out why this is happening and where we're going. That's my point of view. I don't know if, Dave, you've said where you are on this. Do you feel characters are important at all, or is it just the monster that's...
Well, I think they make a better movie, but I don't think they're necessary in a... Are we calling this a giant monster movie genre now?
I guess we could coin that phrase. I'll run to the patent office and get that.
Giant monster movies. It'll be in a category in the Academy Awards. But it would make the movie better. But no, you don't need it. I mean, I remember some of the characters in Jaws, but I remember the shark. I remember the blood and the gore and the fear. More than I do the characters. So I think the characters helped, but no, I think it would have done just as well, without any character development whatsoever. Look at Sharknado.
I understand.
Try to look at it.
Exactly. I don't know that it's going to make or even be budgeted for the $207 million that Peter Jackson got for King Kong, or the budgets that are on Poseidon Rex and Jurassic Park 4, which is in the works.
But I must say one thing. Bryan Cranston is in the new Godzilla movie. Did you know that?
Yes.
And yes. I doubt, being who he is and what he's accomplished, that he would put his name to anything that's a real throwaway kind of movie
I feel
where
this could be a
characters don't
bad
count.
one for him, though. Like, this really could be the one at
maybe,
6.
maybe, but he's, he can be very selective about what he wants to be in, and I think if it was just he was another, faceless character who just, let's get him, those kind of characters.
Totally.
I don't think he would do it. So
he does look character involved in this project. Let's take a look. Let's all look at it when we go see the movie that is out now, and we'll look for you to report back to us on everythingoldisnewagain.biz. We are listening to Everything Old Is New Again on Long Island News Radio. Our next show, we're going to discuss comic book characters and why do we care? Why are they so popular?